You're live from New Delhi, watching India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates 3 frontline naval combatants in Mumbai. South Korea's impeached President Yoon arrested over failed martial law attempt. Gaza ceasefire appears close as mediators put focus on agreeable details. US to remove Cuba's terrorism tag blacklist in exchange for release of political prisoners. TikTok prepares for immediate shutdown in US this Sunday as ban nears. And on to the top story this hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated 3 frontline naval combatants, INS Surat, INS Nilgiri and INS Vakshir, to the nation on their commissioning at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai today. The commissioning of 3 major naval combatants marks a significant leap forward in realizing India's vision of becoming a global leader in defense manufacturing and maritime security. INS Surat, the 4th and final ship of the P-15B guided missile destroyer project, ranks among the largest and most sophisticated destroyers in the world. It has an indigenous content of 75% and is equipped with state-of-the-art weapon sensor packages and advanced network-centric capabilities. INS Nilgiri, the first ship of P-17A stealth frigate project, has been designed by the Indian Navy's Warship Design Bureau and incorporates advanced features for enhanced survivability, seakeeping and stealth, reflecting the next generation of indigenous frigates. INS Vakshir, the 6th and final submarine of the P-75 Scorpion project, represents India's growing expertise in submarine construction and has been constructed in collaboration with the Naval Group of France. Speaking on the occasion, Prime Minister Modi termed it as very big day for India's maritime heritage, the glorious history of the Navy and the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Prime Minister Modi also congratulated all those involved in building of these made in India naval combatants.
विस्तारवाद नहीं, भारत विकासवाद की भावना से काम करता है। भारत ने हमेशा ओपन, सिक्योर, इंक्लूसिव और प्रॉस्परस इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन का समर्थन किया है। इसलिए जब समुद्र से सटे देशों के विकास की बात आई तो भारत ने मंत्र दिया सागर। सागर का मतलब है सिक्योरिटी एंड ग्रोथ फॉर ऑल इन द रीजन।
While during his visit to Mumbai, Prime Minister Modi will also inaugurate Asia's 2nd largest Ishon Temple being built in Kharghar, Navi Mumbai. Shishir Sheller gets us this report from there.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate Asia's 2nd largest Ishon Temple on Wednesday. This temple is built in Kharghar, Navi Mumbai. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness, an organization that propagates the Bhagavad Gita, has built this temple. This temple is spread over 9 acres. The temple has been constructed entirely of white and brown marble stones. In the hall of this temple, pictures of Lord Krishna have been used using 3D techniques. This temple dedicated to Lord Krishna has been named Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan. The temple also features amenities including a guest house, a restaurant, a yoga and Ayurveda center, a gym and a library. A major attraction within the temple premises is a 1,008-seater cultural center and auditorium designed to host performances, spiritual discourses and Vedic teachings.
Within this premise, we have one center that consists of, the big temple over here of Radha Shri Radha Madan Mohanji, Shri Darbar of Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Shri Gaurnitai, and then we have the Dashavtar temple. And apart from that, we have a building where we have a Vedic college, the free of cost education we are providing, and then we are providing a Brahmachari ashram, then Brahmacharini ashram, then we have a Sannyas ashram, and the wonderful Srila Prabhupada and the founder Acharya's memorial over here.
While talking about the recent attack on Ishon Temple in Bangladesh, Kharghar Ishon Temple trustee and President Dr. Surdas Prabhu said that he condemns the cowardly attack on the Ishon Temple in Bangladesh. He also supported the policies of Indian government regarding Bangladesh.
The purpose of this center is also to make people happy by giving them the diversified Vedic culture like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and other scriptures like Upanishad, Chaitanya Charitamrita and other things are also taught. We like to pray to the Supreme Lord, let the Bangladeshis become, wonderful devotees. In fact, I just want to tell you very clearly, Bangladesh recently was on the top, export-oriented country. But now everything has declined. Why it is declining? Because they have not understood the mercy of brotherhood.
Devotees are happy with this Ishon temple built in Navi Mumbai. Many residents of Navi Mumbai expressed their desire for an Ishon temple and a cultural space in their city. Shishir Selar's report for DD India.
And India is celebrating the 77th Army Day today. The Army Day is observed on January 15th every year to commemorate the day in 1949 when Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa took command of the Indian Army from General F.R.R. Butcher, the last British Commander-in-Chief. K.M. Cariappa became the first Indian Commander-in-Chief of independent India. While the annual Army Day parade was held in the national capital, this long-standing practice witnessed a major shift in January 2023 when it was held in Bangalore, which comes under the Southern Command. The Army Day Parade this year is being held in Western India's Pune. And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated 3 frontline naval combatants, INS Surat, INS Nilgiri and INS Wakshi to the nation on their commissioning at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai today. INS Surat, the 4th and final ship of the P-15B guided missile destroyer project, ranks among the largest and most sophisticated destroyers in the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a little while back, dedicated 3 frontline naval combatants, INS Surat, INS Nilgiri and INS Wakshi, to the nation on their commissioning at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai today. INS Wakshi, the 6th and final submarine of the P-75 Scorpion project. It represents India's growing expertise in submarine construction and has been constructed in collaboration with the Naval Group of France. These are visuals of Prime Minister dedicating to the nation 3 submarines to the nation on their commissioning at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai today. One of them was INS Vakshir, the 6th and final submarine of the P-75 Scorpion project, which represents India's growing expertise in submarine construction and has been constructed in collaboration with the Naval Group of France. A little while back, we may tell you, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated 3 frontline naval combatants, INS Surat, INS Nilgiri and INS Vakshir, to the nation on their commissioning at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai today. And the commissioning of these 3 major naval combatants marks a significant leap forward in realizing India's vision of becoming a global leader in defense manufacturing and maritime security. While speaking on the occasion, Prime Minister also termed it as a very big day for India's maritime heritage, the glorious history of the Navy and the Atmanirbhar Bharat. INS Nilgiri, the first ship of the P-17A stealth frigate project, has been designed by the Indian Navy's Warship Design Bureau and incorporates advanced features for enhanced survivability, seakeeping and stealth, reflecting the next generation of indigenous frigates. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi there dedicating 3 frontline naval combatants, INS Surat, INS Nilgiri and INS Vakshir, to the nation on their commissioning at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai today, a little while back. And we may tell our viewers that the commissioning of 3 major naval combatants marks a significant leap forward in realizing India's vision of becoming a global leader in defense manufacturing and maritime security. INS Surat, the 4th and the final ship of the P-15B guided missile destroyer project, ranks among the largest and most sophisticated destroyers in the world. It has an indigenous content of 75% and is equipped with state-of-the-art weapon, sensor packages and advanced network-centric capabilities. INS Nilgiri, the first ship of the P-17A stealth frigate project, has been designed by the Indian Navy's Warship Design Bureau and incorporates advanced features for enhanced survivability, seakeeping and stealth, reflecting the next generation of indigenous frigates. And now let's give you all the news from the Maha Kumbh, the largest gathering of humans on the planet. Well, the sacred banks of Triveni Sangam, the confluence of River Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati continue to witness an overwhelming influx of devotees on the 3rd day of the Maha Kumbh. This grand spiritual gathering, which began on the 13th of January, is regarded as the largest congregation of humanity on earth. In just the first 2 days, around 50 million devotees took a holy dip in the confluence, seeking spiritual merit and divine blessings. The event has captured the devotion and faith of millions who have travelled far and wide to partake in this extraordinary celebration of Sanatan Dharma. Well, the sanitation workers in Maha Kumbh 2025 are playing a pivotal role in maintaining cleanliness at Triveni Sangam and the government's initiative. DD India's correspondent Siddharth Bharadwaj has filed the special report.
In Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj, Maha Kumbh 2025, the largest religious gathering on earth is taking place, where around 450 to 500 million people are expected to come. The government is leaving no stone unturned to make sure that sanitization becomes and remains a priority. I'm at Arel Ghat area and you can see behind me, you can see how clean this area is. Yesterday was Amrit Snan, the first Amrit Snan of Maha Kumbh 2025 on Makar Sankranti, where around 3.5 crore people took dip in the holy waters of Triveni Sangam. These are Ganga Seva Doots who have been deployed to make sure that the ghats and the area where the pilgrims and devotees are coming remains clean. Sanitation workers work 24 hours to make sure that the ghats and the area around the ghats remain clean. I have some workers with me. Let's talk to them.
यही है हमारा काम, जो कि मतलब झाड़ू वाड़ू लगाना, जो कचरा है वो उठा के डस्टबिन में डालना, यही सब करते हैं सर। वहाँ गंगा जी का भी घाट साफ करते हैं। पानी से वो गंगा जी में फूल वूल जो बहाते हैं और कचरा वचड़ा जो करते हैं वो फड़ुए से निकाल लेते हैं।
सुबह से आते हैं तो झाड़ू लगाते हैं वो गंगा जी के किनारे और यहाँ मैदान में सगले काम करा के और बस अपना बस यही काम है
सर। यहाँ पे पूरी हमारी जिम्मेदारी है साफ़ सफाई करने के लिए, साफ़ सफाई करते हैं, यहाँ पे 24 घंटा काम करते हैं।
The sanitation workers play key role when it comes to the cleanliness in and around ghats. They say that they work 24 hours in shifts and make sure that people throw garbage only in dustbin. With camera person Rakesh Kumar, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in Prayagraj.
And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Gaza deal says ball in Hamas's court. In a unique way, cats in Los Angeles help people cope up with stress and anxiety caused by the wildfires. How? We tell you ahead. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana and moving on. Now let's get you updates from South Korea. Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol was arrested on Wednesday over his failed martial law bid. Yoon's presidential motorcade left the hillside residence where he has been holed up for weeks behind barbed wire barriers and a small army of personal security, and later arrived at the offices of the anti-corruption agency heading the probe. Earlier, hundreds of police officers and investigators from the Corruption Investigation Office had streamed up the driveway to the presidential residence before dawn, some scaling perimeter walls and hiking up back trails to reach the main building. It was their second effort to arrest Yoon. Yoon is the first sitting president in the nation's history to be arrested. Following his arrest, Yoon can be held for up to 48 hours on the existing warrant. Investigators would need to apply for another arrest warrant to keep him in custody. Well, separately, the Constitutional Court is deliberating over to uphold that impeachment and permanently remove him from office. Next hearing will be held on the 16th of January. And updates on Israel-Hamas conflict now. Negotiators were near to hammering out the final details of a ceasefire in Gaza on Wednesday after marathon talks in Qatar. Qatar, Egypt and the United States have intensified efforts to broker a ceasefire to enable the release of hostages taken during Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. More than 8 hours of talks in Doha had fueled optimism. Hamas said it was waiting for Israel to submit maps showing how its forces would withdraw from Gaza. However, officials from mediators, Qatar, Egypt and the US, as well as Israel and Hamas, said an agreement for a truce in the besieged enclave and release of hostages was closer than ever.
We do believe that we are at a developed stage. We do believe that we are at the final stages, but obviously until there is an announcement, there will be no announcement, and therefore we shouldn't be overexcited about what's happening right now, but certainly we are hopeful that this would lead very soon to an agreement. So the main reason why we are more optimistic right now is, as I said, during the past months there were underlying issues, major issues between the two parties unresolved. These issues were resolved during the talks in the past couple of weeks, and therefore we have reached a point where the major issues that were preventing a deal from happening were addressed, and we have language pertaining to these issues that has been distributed between both parties.
Well, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar, meanwhile, said during a visit to Rome that there was a true willingness from our side to reach an agreement.
I believe that if we will achieve this hostage deal, we will have a majority in the government that will support the agreement. So this is the simple answer. I know there is a true willingness from our side to reach an agreement.
Well, meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi discussed negotiations for a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza on Tuesday. White House in a statement said both leaders committed to remain in close coordination directly and through their teams over the coming hours. The leaders emphasized the urgent need for a deal to be implemented. The two leaders also discussed surging humanitarian aid in Gaza. And U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, meanwhile, said that if it is up to Hamas to seal a Gaza ceasefire, saying a final proposal is on the table at talks in Qatar.
Over the past several weeks, our intensive efforts have brought us to the brink of full and final agreement. On Sunday, the United States, Qatar, and Egypt put forward a final proposal. The ball is now in Hamas's court. If Hamas accepts, the deal is ready to be concluded and implemented.
Well, the Biden administration has notified Congress that it will remove Cuba from its list of state sponsors of terrorism as part of a prisoner release deal. The move will likely be overturned after the return to office next week of President-elect Donald Trump. He reinstated Cuba's terror designation in the final days of his first presidency in 2021, banning U.S. economic aid and arms exports to the country. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo designated Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism in January 2021, just days before leaving office, saying at the time that Havana was providing support for acts of international terrorism. And Cuba said on Tuesday it would release 553 prisoners imprisoned for diverse crimes in response to the announcement. Cuba welcomed the move as a step in the right direction, but lamented it was still under U.S. sanctions in place since 1962. The Catholic Church had been negotiating with the communist-run government over the release of the prisoners. Most of them were jailed following unprecedented island-wide protest in July 2021. Well, U.S. TikTok users are flocking to the Chinese social media app Xiaohongshu, making it the top downloaded app in the U.S. as the threat of a TikTok ban looms. The U.S. Supreme Court is due to rule on a law that stipulates TikTok must be divested from its Chinese parent company ByteDance by January 19th or face a ban in the U.S. over national security concerns. Known as Xiaohongshu in China, Red Note is a social media platform that includes images, short-form videos, community building tools, shopping and more. It is not a one-to-one TikTok clone, and it is owned by Shanghai-based Xingyan Information Technology. Meanwhile, two Democratic lawmakers on Monday urged Congress and President Joe Biden to extend the deadline for ByteDance to sell the U.S. assets of TikTok. The Supreme Court held arguments on Friday on TikTok and ByteDance's challenge to the law. A lawyer for the company said it would be impossible to complete a sale by next week's deadline. Well, a huge federal probe was underway into what caused the deadly Los Angeles wildfires, with millions in the city clamoring for answers. Several theories have surfaced about what started blazes, including downed power lines, deliberate arson, or stray firework in the reignition of the earlier fire. Meanwhile, powerful winds forecast for late Tuesday night threaten to trigger massive fires that are still burning around Los Angeles. National Weather Service has warned people to stay aware of their surroundings and be ready to evacuate. Well, a cat cafe in Los Angeles is offering free 15-minute cat cuddling sessions to help people affected by the city's ongoing wildfires relief from the stress and anxiety caused by the disaster. The cafe is rescuing cats and kittens from high-kill shelters, providing them with a safe and loving space where they can be socialized and cared until they find their forever homes. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Vipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.